All right, and yeah, it looks like we're live here. Can everybody hear me fine? And is this working? Hopefully, just say something in the chat room. So gonna go ahead and assume that this is working. And thank you, everybody, for joining me here at 9 a.m. Santiago time in the morning here. And so I'm going to tell you guys a little story today about how I basically survived the ups and downs of Bitcoin because a lot of people go through a lot of depression when Bitcoin goes down. And I find that kind of odd, but um, yeah, I guess I have to understand a little bit where, people are used to seeing those huge gains in 1 year from $1,300 to $20,000, and that's just not normal. So yeah, I understand the depression when you want to invest in something, you want to see that kind of of historical returns, and it just life does not work that way. Anyways, so yeah, it looks like I'm good to go with the sound and everything. So yeah, I'm happy with that. A little bit before I go into the story, I wanted to go over my schedule for the next little while. Um, Basically, yeah, I'm switching cameras here, and I'm gonna turn off this light over here. I was going to go to Singapore in November, and after reading this chilling Singapore fake news law coming into effect, right? Singapore's new law to combat fake news is coming to effect despite criticism from tech giant and activists who label the tough rules chilling attempt to stifle dissent. The law gives government minister power to order social media sites to put warnings next to posts authorities deem to be false. Authorities deem to be false. Right. So they are the authority, right? So, if you tell the truth and that's deemed to be false, uh, yeah, okay, you get the picture, right? So, in an extreme case, get them taken down. Facebook, Twitter, and Google, who have their Asian headquarters in Singapore, were given temporary exemptions from the handful of provisions in the act to give them time to adapt. Oh, how gracious of them, right? I mean, because they would just like fly out of there so fast. If the action is judged to be malicious and damaging to Singapore's interests, companies can be hit with the fines up to 1 million Singapore, that's $120,000, while individuals could face jail term up to 10 years. Jesus. Yeah, can't risk going there. Because, like, if they say that, the monetary system is fair, right? And it doesn't transfer its wealth to from the poor and the middle class to the rich through inflation, right? Who am I to argue the government of Singapore? Sorry, Jesus Christ. Oh man, sorry about that. The government of Singapore has spoken, and the truth only comes from government. Oh man, I can't wait until I feel better. Anyways, so yeah, that's why I have decided to cancel any trips to Singapore until this goes away. Cause no, thank you. They could decide, hey, I'm a criminal just because of what I've said, and you just don't know, right? Because it could be anything, right? That you say, and since people are on YouTube I remember reading somewhere that this DJ just liked a comment on Twitter and was banned from China. I mean, come on, this is that's the kind of governments they want to be in Singapore. Jesus, no, thank you. All right. Well, also I was planning on going to Anarchapulco, but I've decided not to. I thought about it after enjoying I really enjoyed the Wealth Summit with Tone Vase, and I got so much out of it. When I compare, I mean, I enjoyed my time in Anarchapulco. I enjoyed it a lot. I had fun. There's no doubts about it. It was I did get a lot of camaraderie is the word I'm looking for, and feeling that I'm in a group of people that are somewhat like-minded, right? But that's about it. There was a few. I did take a few educational tracks, and those educational tracks did help us a lot, but not as much as I got from the Toneways Financial Summit. I mean, that's exactly when I want to go to a conference. If 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 I were to put into work an example of a good conference and a conference where I got something out of it because there's a travel time, the cost to go in there, and all that kind of stuff. That Tone Vases conference was it. And that was what the financialsummit.com. Yes, and so he's going to be doing another one, and yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. Yeah. Oh, sure. I've been to other conferences that have been good. Um, it's not like they've all been like terrible or something like that, and haven't had didn't give me anything out of it. Yes, I've been to conferences that did give me something, but not as much as other conferences that I've been to. That's my point. So, as this conference has given me, right? So all the other conferences combined, I mean, yeah, they're good, they're good, they're good, yeah, 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 yeah. But this one gave me the most for my for the dollar spent. So I am happy with that, and that's that. So I have a lot of tickets. Going back to this, I have a lot of tickets, and I plan to give them away. Um, on this channel. So if you're interested, right, look out for a giveaway on that. So let's head back to the other scene here and check the messages, check the chat group, see what you guys are all saying. Right, I'm wondering what is everybody else drinking. Say what you're drinking in this morning, fine morning, like Ivan on Tech. Yes, I'm copying that style here. Tell me what you're drinking. I'm drinking tea today. No coffee, just tea. Mm, to help me with my cough and my cold. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Any interesting questions that I can quickly answer? Well, you know what? Somebody said that let's talk about the price of Bitcoin. You guys want to hear what the price of Bitcoin is going? Oh, there we go. FN Based is drinking coffee. Oh, awesome, awesome. So, coffee crew. Yes, yes, coffee's all good. I love my coffee. Good cup of java. Alrighty, so see you. Nice to see you in Australia. Australians in there. Okay. Yeah, lots of Australians here. I noticed that there's a lot of. I'm glad that there's a lot of Australians watching the show because I was getting kind of worried when I saw that. There was like when I was in that Melbourne airport. I'm gonna do some investigation, and I bet you that was done by by Google itself, but and they're testing out something because that was just too fine of a job of cutting us out of searches and everything. It was well done. Anyways, yeah, moving on. Okay, so let's first go on to price and of the price action of Bitcoin, what we see in the price, and then we can go on to the story of how to survive, how I survive basically. Um, Bitcoin's ups and downs, right? So yeah, let's switch back to over to my screen here, and here I'm gonna also turn off that light again. So let's see here. We are looking at. Let's start with my chart on Coinigy and see what it tells us. Oh, frick. What is this? Oh man, okay, well, let's got rid of that. So, weekly. So, yeah, I have a Frankenstein kind of design happening here. What's with the log scale? Let me take that off. And let me just resave that and then go here. Okay, so here is the battle zone that we got to come out of in order to really say that this is a bull market. But I think decisively, I would like to see a W right here. I'd like to see, I honestly would love to see um, Bitcoin do something like this over time on the weekly scale. Um, it's not gonna, doesn't mean it's going to. Oops. Doesn't mean it's going to. I just would like to see it. I'd like to see it go like this and then come back down and do another W and then off we go. So I'm not, hang on, let me just delete that here. So it's something where we just put in some sort of like clear Wing pattern, right? That shows us that, hey, you know what, this is nice and time to go. So we could just, if we can just go consolidate down here, that'd be great, especially for the dollar cost average people, because I've been telling you the dollar cost average is the best way to buy into Bitcoin. It may be the most boring way to buy into Bitcoin, but man, will it ever save your butt. Um, dollar cost averaging, and and yeah, that plays into my story too. But anyways, let's go take a look at what we have here. And so what we have is what we have, and this clearly we've broken this trend line here. And what we want to see is some sort of W, like I was saying. You can see it even on the daily side. If we can see it on the daily side, that'd be great. But what we do have is that, hey, the daily is above the 13 EMA, it's above the 200 period moving average, 200 daily moving average. These are all bullish signs to look for longs, for nice swing longs. So where would you set your stop if you want to do sort of a trade on this thing? Um, it's really difficult because there's not a solid stop loss here. But if you really want to swing to the fences, you want to trade. A trader's got to trade. You got to find something to trade. Uh, Sometimes the best trade is no trade at all. But if you really wanted to find something, you could always take a risk here. Entry at any point and stop loss at that bottom of this candle. It's kind of risky only because we have this. If the stop loss was inside in this trend line, inside this trend, it's falling. It would be below this trend line. It would be better to take because I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin does some sort of FU move. So that's why I have like actually buy orders here. I'm like, yeah, this is where I want to put my stops, right? So instead, I'm like, nah, forget it. I don't trust you, Bitcoin. I'm gonna move this all the way down here. So this is what I wanted to do, and this is what I'm ending up doing. Okay, so I've got some buy orders down here with my stop loss down here. So now my stop loss is in here. So it's a long way for Bitcoin to come down here, right? But I kind of get the feeling that we might get some FU moves to tell people to tell all the longs because I think this is gonna build up a lot of longs and take us and try to get it's gonna try to shake those longs out. So you could like get this 2 to 1 easily and then leave a little bit, take some profits off and then ride the rest up, or you could ride the whole thing higher if you want to. That's up to you. But yeah, I think this would be the best kind of trade. This is a large percentage here, but the percentage doesn't matter. You could always um, use you could always figure out how much you want to lose. Like if you just want to lose $1,000, make sure that you only use $1,000 based on the 6.25% percentage risk that you're taking there. So yeah, do I see this going a lot higher? Of course. Honestly, I think this is the bottom. I don't think we're gonna break that. We could, possible. I just don't think so. And yeah, that's where I think the price is now. It's gonna take some time for us to draw out the movement and make some sort of like some pattern, some sort of trade pattern to see that we're gonna be definitely moving rapidly higher. But it's gonna happen sometime. So look for it over the next little while. So that is my take on price for today. Alrighty, so moving back here. Well, so my story of how I survived the ups and downs is basically um, I never really felt pressure, right, when um, Bitcoin went up from $1 when I first saw it, started to buy. I was buying like crazy, and I was watching it go up like crazy, mining it like crazy, watching it still go up all the way up to $32, and then rolling back down. A lot of people told me, "Why didn't you sell the top, man? That was crazy. It's obvious just going straight up. This can't continue forever." And yeah, sure. You know what? Hindsight's always 2020. But I, I was not holding for just from a move from $1 to $32. I knew for me, it was like because I read the source code, right? Because I knew how unless there was like something that I've missed technically that couldn't break it, this thing is going to work. Excuse me. And so I I was not fearful at all, and the fact that I also wanted to save, and I didn't go like balls deep into Bitcoin, right? That's another thing I didn't do. Kind of wish I did, but I didn't do that. I didn't go balls deep, and with that, it made it a lot easier as well to weather the storm and watch Bitcoin go all the way to $2. Another thing that helped me save and not worry about it is that I was in gold and silver at the time, and at the same time, silver had moved up from where I bought it at $11 on an average price basis to approximately well, I would say not $11. Probably my average cost basis was probably $20, but that was $20 Canadian, so I don't know. So anyways, it moved up to silver had moved up to around 20 March of 2011. Silver had moved up to close to $50, and yeah, I was in it for the long haul. I was not in it for this small move, because for me that move to $50 was small because of all the imbalances and pressure and basically the manipulation that goes on by the banks. And if you say, "Oh, you're just complaining about the price because it didn't go up," and saying it's manipulation. Okay, you know what? I don't have to deal with those people like that anymore. Thank God, because there's plenty of evidence that both J.P. Morgan, right, Deutsche Bank, and a whole slew of others have heavily manipulated the price, and I'm vindicated. I, I remember arguing um, so many times with people, laughing, making fun of me, and and they have posts and what's it called, newsletters that are all taken down now that the manipulation has proven to be true. I mean that I have a lot of videos that I'm not proud of, that I've made bad calls, and I haven't taken them down. And yet, you see those other guys who think, oh, they're all the big shit. They don't want to take they don't want to say, look the truth in the face and go, oh, yeah, you know what, I was wrong and that was a bad call. Clearly, there was manipulation, right? They don't want to do that, right? They want to hide that fact. But you know what? I'm going off on a tangent here. Um, the point is the story of how I held it together, and I held it together uh, because of one other thing. Because I learned how to save. I learned how to save through over before. This is even before I even learned how our monetary system worked. Um, I'm gonna move over to this video, this screen here. Whoops. And this person here, MP Dunleavy, I read a lot of her articles between the years of 2000 and 2010. I read a lot of hers because she wrote for MSNBC, sorry, MSNBC. And I was following every single one of her articles because like most of us, I got into a little bit of debt trouble and credit card debt and so forth, and I wanted to like start saving for retirement, and so uh, everything that she was writing about really resonated with me. And she had this group of women that were also in the same boat, and they were trying to get themselves out of debt, and then start to save. And so, uh, one of the things you learn about saving is that you can't expect to make the big bucks overnight. You're looking for a long-term result, and thus, with if you're looking for a long-term result, you can't be looking at what today's results are. And so that's one of the things I learned from this particular person. And this helped me through the bad times a lot. When Bitcoin was down, when it moved up to 13,000, I felt, man, super rich, man. Oh, man. Not 13,000, 1,300. Just 1,300 in 2013. 1,300 in 2013, I felt super rich. I thought the world, I couldn't be stopped. And I went partying like crazy, right? But when Bitcoin started going down, it started and went down to 200. Yeah, it started to hurt a lot, right? Because never expected it to come back down that much. But I knew that I was in it for the long haul, and I was gonna hold. And I actually ended up selling. I actually was, in order to hold more BTC longer, I ended up selling some of my gold in order to survive the Bitcoin winter. And also, when I started to pretend, I started to trade without knowing how to trade, and man, that ever hurt me even more. I lost hundreds and hundreds of Bitcoins in the price action between $200 and $300. So let that be a lesson to you. If you want to run over to Bybit and see if you can make some more Bitcoins with the Bitcoins you've already purchased, it's a bad idea, colossally bad idea. But with that said, if you're a professional trader and you want to trade as a professional, you could, use my Bybit link below and, get a $60 reward, all that kind of stuff, and, help the channel, of course, right? So, yeah, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, so that is my story of how I survived the ups and downs. It's harsh. It was still hard. But I know where Bitcoin's going. Um, I know Bitcoin has a long-term future, and you can't stop math. So that's why I'm glad to be here and looking forward to buying some more. With that said, let's go on to the questions that you have for me, and I can see if I can answer some questions. Is it a good idea to buy BTC with a credit card now? It's never a good idea. Um, because you have a high interest rate. Um, at Bitcoin, it could get lucky. You could get lucky, and Bitcoin skyrocket, doubles, and then you could pay off, at least doubles, and then you could pay off your credit cards, and then have a little bit of a free position. But what I notice is people get greedy. They feel that the bitcoins that they've purchased is all theirs, and not the banks, the credit card companies that you know lent you the money. And really, you didn't actually lend the money. They didn't lend the money to you. You actually printed it to buy Bitcoin. And so, yeah, um, you just um, stole a little bit of money from everybody in the world when you use your credit cards to do that. So that's another issue with doing that. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but it's a risky thing to do. What's my favorite altcoin? Well, everybody knows it's Dash. I like Dash because I love the governance. I love the fact that they have an option to be private if you want to. So, yeah, I like Dash, and hopefully it does very well. I don't know if it will, but I believe it will. So that's another question. What's your favorite altcoin? No, how do you like Valley? Oh, I love Valley, man. Oh, the people were just awesome. Everybody's just bowing to you. Oh my God, and very friendly, very helpful, and stuff like that. It's just great. Love it. Definitely looking forward to going back to Bali. Um, what's the price? What about the price action? Well, we already did that. I'm glad someone's finally spoken the truth about the fake news law. Who determines the fake news? Oops, I'm in trouble now. You just spread some fake news about Singapore. You're in trouble now. Wow. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Any new questions here? Um, Price of Pandora's wallet change if the price of Bitcoin go higher? Can the price of Pandora's wallet change if the price of Bitcoin goes higher? Yes, we do change it from time to time as prices as the price moves of Bitcoin. We it's subject to change when we decide that we need to make a change. All right, moving on. What about XRP? Okay, I'm about to get. I'm gonna get bitch slapped by the XRP army, but I have to say, any software developer that reads the source code will tell you the same thing I'm about to tell you, right? This is just a consensus only algorithm. They can change the amount of XRP that is in existence, right? With very little effort. They can block you from transferring XRP with very little effort. They can um, take your XRP with very little effort if they want to. They can do everything the current banking system does with very little effort. What the banks love about what is good about this is because the control can be centralized amongst a few high-end network players. So that's just the way it is. They could call it decentralized all they want. That's like the United States government saying, "Hey, you know what? We're going into Syria, but it's not war; it's a kinetic action." Right? I mean, call it whatever you want, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that it is, right? It doesn't mean like if you drop bombs and you kill soldiers and you try to change the government with uh, with military force, and then you say you call it kinetic action. I don't know, but to me that constitutes a war. But hey, if you want to call it that, fine. If they want to call it decentralized, where it's only the high end people can run nodes that control the system. Okay, that's decentralized. Oh man, and you know what? And they have to do it that way to get that kind of speed anyway. So let's move on. All right. Sorry about my cold, people. Sorry about that, but I wanted to get the show out because I haven't been doing a lot of videos, and I want to get into just doing some videos constantly now. Alrighty, so bit torn, the BTT. Yeah, interesting. You know what? I haven't looked into it, but I think I'm gonna buy some of that coin regardless. So, um, but I haven't looked into whether or not it's a good project. Where do you see the price at the end of year? Okay. Well, for sure higher than the price that it started the start of the year, obviously. Um, if just for fun, if I were to take a guess at where the price would be, I'd say would be probably um, right where we are right about now, just floating around $10,000, around the $10,000 level. That's where I would guess we will be near the year end, and that's the most probable outcome. Let's see. What else? What else do we have for me in questions here? Alrighty. Are you excited by BSV locking in the original protocol next year? BSV, you know what? I'm not excited about Bitcoin Satoshi's vision anything. So um, I remember Chris mentioned, hey, you know what? Check to see if you have any Bitcoin SV. It's pumped. I'm like, really? I have that crap? And I'm like, oh my god, I have a bunch of that, and I sold it all off on the pump. So yeah, so I'm not interested in helping Craig Wright at all. So you can go ahead if you want to. Um, when did live started? Oh, when did the live stream start? It started at 9. I'm gonna try to stay on a consistent basis at 9 a.m. Santiago time. So next week, if you're on Eastern Standard Time, that's probably gonna be really early for you guys. Right? I think that about 7. because of the time change that you guys are gonna go through on the weekend, right? Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. I think that's how long it'll take to the next bull run. How long? Okay, I think this was will be the last question from Leo Trim 20. How long will it take the next bull run? Well, that's easy to say. It's not most highly probable that it's going to be in 2021. Highly probable, and dragging a little bit into 2022. Um, we might start a little bit early because of institutional money. A lot of institutional money is coming into the space. I feel that I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a pump into a pump and then dump into the happening because as much as you might think that rich people are smart, I remember a lot of them talking when the early days of Bitcoin how you can't buy a pizza with a $1,300 Bitcoin, and then or my favorite one was from Peter Schiff was yeah, there's no, they said that there's only going to be 21 million. No, it's divisible by divisible by 100,000, 100 million. So there's trillions of them. There's trillions and trillions of Bitcoin. And I'm like, so yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to buy into the craze that, oh my God, there's going to be less Bitcoins, and not look at the historical past, or try to pump the public into doing that. So yeah, so look out for that in the following year. So. And yeah, I think that will be it for today. I want to keep this under 30 minutes. It's well over 30 minutes. But I did enjoy this live stream. I look forward to doing some more, answering some more questions. So make sure you have some questions ready for me for the next live stream. I think I might do another one tomorrow morning. It's going to be Saturday morning. And if not, it'll probably be on Monday. So, yeah, enjoy your weekend if I don't see you guys, and don't get wrecked, please, on this market. We have the moon to go to and land on.